hear the word baptism, do you think of water? First thought? How many of you think when you hear the word baptism that it refers being immersed into water? That's your first thought. All of us, right? Pretty much all of us. Well, Peter is saying this story about Noah and the ark is symbolic. It's a finger pointing forward through kind of the timeline of history to a point when God's real plan of salvation would be made known. All throughout history, even back in Genesis, even to Adam and Eve, hints of this plan were given. To the serpent, God said, "You're going to bruise this seed's heel, but he's going to crush you." It's the first hint of this plan. And then we see it in some of the things that happened to the people, the flood, the ark. We see it in the Passover feast and what took place there. And all of that was showing that there's this plan of God that's going to come in fruition. And that plan is ultimately the plan that saves us from the coming wrath, the death that all of us would have experienced because of our sin. Those that were saved back in the day of Noah immersed themselves in the plan of God. And they were saved. We're saved today when we are immersed in the plan of God. What is that plan? The death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's what he says. Not the removal of dirt from the body, but the pledge of a good conscience toward God. It saves you by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who has gone into heaven and is at God's right hand with angels, authorities, and powers in submission to Him. So what is the plan of God? The death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's what we need to be immersed into. It's not water that Peter is speaking of. Water cleanses externally. The people of Israel were very familiar with washings and cleansings. They had washings and cleansings for almost everything that came up within their society. They were very familiar with that. And Jesus said, "You folks think that you're clean on the outside. You've done all the washings. You've followed the law to its letter. But you are filthy on the inside. Your conscience toward God isn't clean. There's only one way that your conscience can become clean before God, and that is through immersion into the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus Christ." As the writer of Hebrews said, it is through the blood of Jesus Christ that our consciences become cleansed from deeds that lead to death, so that we can serve in the new way of the Spirit. Water doesn't do that. It's symbolic of the baptism that does.